Yo, so pack a lunch, right? What did we have? Four fights went the distance. Did four fights go the distance? Oh, yes. Yes, they did. Because there was one that looked like it might go the distance and then pow. Oh, no, no, no. It did go. Five fights went the distance, but it was so fire. We'll put it in a different section. You feel me? But yeah, four fights went the distance, people. Well, sorry. Ugh, I'm an idiot. Five fights went the distance, but that's out of 11. Not bad. And one of those fights was a barnstormer, right? Two of those fights that went the distance were just really great. You know what I mean? Just good fights, right? Like the only one that was a bit was the first fight, and still there was something in it, right? Now, the first fight to go the distance on this card was the first night, the first fight of the night, right? We had Alvin Hines against Janhanto Daiz. And here's the thing, right? I'd seen Hines fight in LFA. He was undefeated. But the competition he was going against, maybe not the best, right? Not the best in the world. Now he's getting the wins, he's dominating, he's taking down, but you can see holes in the game. You could see holes in his game, right? So it's always, how will he be when he steps up? And Denise, hey, that's a good step up in competition. That's a legit step up in comp, right? Now, Denise, he's not been necessarily lighting things on fire, but he has got potential if he can round things out. So it was just like, I think Denise is going to win this fight, but let's see, right? Let's see what happens. It's the heavyweight division as well, you know? Also, Denise, because they got round about the same amount of MMA fights, but Denise was a legit kickboxer, right? Fought Alex Pereira, fought Rico Verhoeven. You know what I mean? So he's good. He can strike. And the fight kind of went how I thought it might, right? Denise was basically picking Hines apart, right? Using his striking, his kick, doing his thing. And you could see what Hines wanted to do, right? He wanted to get that takedown. He wanted to try and dominate. And, all the things that worked on the regionals ain't the regionals, right? We ain't in Kansas anymore, kid. And so he was struggling, and Denise was putting it on him. He dominated in that first round, right? Dominated. It was brutal. And that's the big thing. Because whatever limitations Hines got, he's got buckets of fucking heart. Alvin Hines just fucking held his game down hard, right? He lost the fight, right? He lost the fight. He was outclassed. But he showed everyone that, man, he ain't quitting, right? And he was hit with punches that a lot of people might go, you know what, I don't want that no more. I'm out. I'm not winning, right? It's clear I'm not winning, so I can just, I'll stay down a little, right? I won't bring my hands up. I'll let the ref jump in. Nah, Alvin Hines, he was trying. And, we get halfway through the second, and Denise is mad tired. Oh my days, Denise is so tired. because he's defending the takedowns, right? He's getting his own takedowns. He's landing a load of shots, right? He's putting out a lot of energy. Now, should he actually beat? No, he shouldn't, right? I think the thing with this is, if Denise was better conditioned, he may have been able to get a finish in this fight, right? And at least not look so bad in the second half of the second round and the third, because he was so gassed. But the good thing for him was his experience, right? His experience held him down because he was able to keep out of trouble, right? Use jab, use a front kick, use those tools to, keep Hines off of him. And it was just lucky Hines didn't really have a second game plan, right? He just had one way to win. And if he could have changed things up, he might have got a finish. He might have turned this around, right? So, Genonto Denise got a win. Alvin Hines got a good lesson and understanding on the things he needs to do to improve his game. And so did Denise. So it'll be interesting to see both of these guys' next fights, right? That's the big thing. It'll be interesting to see what happens next, So our next fight, it was the women's flyweight clash, our sole female clash on the card. We had Tracy Cortez against Viviana Araujo. And, I picked Araujo for this one. I was wrong. Now, and this is what I thought. Tracy Cortez on her day is great. But the Rose fight, there was just, she showed heart, she showed toughness, but something seemed very off in that fight. Now, as I said, it might have been the mental state, because there was something that happened, because, as I said, she was dating Brian Ortega, and then he gone and married someone else. So there's that. There's other things that could be going on, right? But whatever it was, there was something seemed off. She didn't seem her full self. And it was just, how will she be in this fight? That was always the big one. Because if she's on her game, she's well good enough to win. But what's it going to be? Now, she was on a frigging game, right? And Araujo started well, was landing shots, moving around. But, Cortez, she started to impose her will. She gets a takedown. Now, the ground stuff was great because, Cortez got a takedown. Araujo reverses. Cortez reverses. Araujo reverses. And then Cortez reverses towards the end of the round. Like, it was that back and forth. But then after the first round, it's kind of Cortez was just putting a foot down and imposing her game plan, right? Doing what she needed to do to get that win. And it was a good win, right? Tracy Cortez got a good win. I feel she's got her mojo back. So, we'll see what can happen next, right? I don't know. It's hard to look at because I don't think a fight with Blanchfield makes necessarily a lot of sense for Blanchfield. Right now, there are other good fights, but Jasmine, she's very close to a title fight, you feel. So, but there are good fights. So it will be interesting to see what Tracy does next, but she's put herself in a very good position, So now this was a really friggin' interesting one. our opening fight of the main card, we had Felipe Lima, Jungle Boy, against Peyton Talbot. Now, Lima, a 14-fight win streak. Talbot coming off the first loss in his career. All roads spoke to Lima getting a dominant win because he's really good on the ground. And that's where we saw Talbot struggle against Barcelos, Rani Barcelos, right? That's where we saw him struggle. Whew, boy, right? There's something about certain fighters. Now, it's usually young fighters that every time you see them, they're different, right? Because they're always evolving. Now, that is if they're actually training and doing things properly, right? If they're training, they're absorbing knowledge all the time, downloading new shit, upgrading, you know what I mean? Leveling up. A bit like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it happens with older fighters too, like Alexander Pantoja, right? Who we'll get to later on. But, yeah, they change. And from the last fight to this one, not that long ago, right? Peyton Talbot has really improved his game on the floor. Because Lima got some takedowns, but Talbot didn't struggle, was able to get back to his feet and back to his feet well. Right? So the ground threat of Lima, it was circumvented, right? It was null and void. Peyton Talbot did a tremendous job on the feet. His movement was really good. He was putting things together, right? He didn't dominate the fight, right? But you could pretty say he was in control for the majority of it, right? He was in control. And I don't think anyone thought he'd get the win, right? For whatever reason, there was something about it. Sometimes I just love an underdog, you know? And so I went Talbot. But I did kind of feel the likelihood may be Lima gets the win, but there was something that was telling me that Peyton Talbot was going to do the thing. And, man, he did the thing. Peyton Talbot did the thing, right? Which is super promising. It's firstly, coming back off the first the first loss of his career shows something huge. And then making all of those drastic improvements to his game tells you this man could get to the pinnacle, right? Now, the bantamweight division is a shark tank, but Peyton Talbot is looking super good. And, the sky is the limit for this dude, right? So our last fight, we've got one of the lightweights, right? One of our lightweight clashes from the night, you know, because the title was on the line. We had two good fights before the title fight, right? This is our second, and we've got Renato Moicano against Bernard Dariush. And, both coming off losses. Right? Both coming off losses. And we haven't seen Benny for a minute. But, look, the Gamrot fight wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? And what Dariush showed in that fight was heart, grit, skill, IQ, everything. So I was just like, look, that Benny is still there, man. You know what I mean? And Moicano is good. But remember, he was losing the Jalen Turner fight, right? If Turner had followed up, he's lost that fight. Now, he came back, and he came back fucking great. You know what I mean? And he's been doing his thing, but Benny Dariush is a different animal. And Benny put in a tremendous display. Now, he was hurt. He did get dropped. I do think some of that was off balance as well, right? But he put in a tremendous display, landing really good shots, getting takedowns. You know, he looked very good on the ground. And Maracano's a black belt. But, I mean, Dariush is a jiu-jitsu multiple time, champion. So, he does work in the gi, right? But he's got those skills, and we saw it. We saw it all on display. And Dariush was, doing so much, putting so much pressure. To come the third round, Maracano was so sluggish. He was so sluggish, right? You know what I mean? So, tremendous display by Benny Dariush. It'll be super interesting to see what's next for him, right? Where he goes. But, I am here for it. Now, this also doesn't say that it's over for Manny Maracano. So, it's interesting to see where both of them go. But Benny Dariush, hey, he was very close to a title run before. Let's see what can happen. Let's see what can happen, people. But that is us for Packer Lunch.